Welcome to Heart Space, a sanctuary where holistic, mindful service is honored and the heart leads the way. Here, we open space for guidance and deep restoration for both heart and spirit. My name is Eve Alexander Ruiz, a doctor who, after psychiatry training, left traditional medicine to more wholly use the wisdom of the heart. I help visionary entrepreneurs who've been experiencing manipulation to realign with purpose, rise in power, and create lives of deep personal and professional fulfillment. And I, as your host, am truly excited to introduce to you Douglas Tully, known as the Sourdough Shaman. And I know you'll tell us about that in a moment. Just wondering, do you happen to have any of your delicious loaves available to show?
They're packed away in the freezer right now. I could pull
That's
them
all right.
out, but
That's
there's
quite all right.
always something coming out of the kitchen.
That is beautiful. That's a great thing for a chef to say, or a bread maker, an artisan bread maker. I love it. Back to this industrious introduction. The reason that, back to you, audience, the reason that Douglas is called the sourdough shaman is because of his sourdough baking. And I must say, I have had two kinds of loaves of his, and they taste truly artisan. I don't know if he uses that 00 flour, and the main thrust of this is spiritual, so I'm not going to get bogged down into baking details. But I can tell you, as an official artisan trained bread maker in the United States, I highly approve. And everyone hasn't lived until they've tried the sourdough. Back to shamanism. Shamanic energy healing that can take place in person or remotely is what he offers clients. Shamanic energy healing is founded in the practices of indigenous cultures throughout time and covers all forms of healing from physical to emotional to spiritual. Sourdough shaman, thank you so much for coming and for sharing with us a bit of your beautiful energy and your art.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having me and giving me this opportunity to talk and share a little bit about what I do and how I bring energies to folks to be able to help heal them.
Excellent. Would you mind just sharing a little bit with us about how you got into shamanism or even connected to spirit?
Yeah, well, I've always been a big fan of nature, growing up as a kid and even in my adult life, spending a lot of time rock climbing and camping and things like that.
I love it in nature.
So, yeah, so when I was met with some challenges, some career challenges, and I was scratching my head, it's like, what is going on here? The energies are just wacko. I went to see psychic and kind of connected some of the dots on the
Wow.
challenges that I was facing. So that kind of started me down the road, but
Mhm.
really opened up the whole world as to how to operate in our three-dimensional world. And so I
Wow.
studied shamanism. You know, there was lots of past life histories of being a shaman, and it kind of dovetailed nicely with what I was experiencing in my current life, you know, because what the shamans have been teaching for eons is about balance and being in proper relationship with our environment, with each other, with the land, with all of those things. So to be in good balance is it feels right. It feels good, and so hopefully that can be a good message and a good learning when I'm working with clients. A lot of times, you know, that's the overarching message. So no matter what they may go away with, then it's always okay. Find ways to continue the balance, continue to ground into nature. That's going to help with the flow and the cycle of energy. Do the things that are nurturing your learning and your continued growth and balance and relationships. So, those are really kind of the key components, how I got started. And now I'm just kind of, some people are a little bit more clairvoyant or clairaudient. I find it's the energy, so I can feel it, I can sense it. I have
Hmm.
a little bit of an intuition. I just kind of know certain things, and so I just
Yeah.
leaned into those strongest suits. So shamanism, Reiki, cord cutting. I've even studied Dolores Cannon and her
Oh, yes.
quantum
Hmm.
hypnosis healing technique. So, a
Fascinating.
different way of moving energy and hopefully finding that healing that we're all seeking.
Thank you. And I think in your own natural, organic way, you've described a lot of what shamanism is. Is there anything you'd like to add to that in terms of the specific training a shaman goes through?
Well, yeah, so the indigenous cultures, for centuries have been using the medicine wheel, and the medicine wheel kind of represents the four seasons that
Hmm.
evolve through in each year. And we don't just go around the medicine wheel once in our lifetime, we go around the medicine wheel many times in our lifetime. And each season, each year, we get different messages, get different learning, understand and notice the relationships being out of balance, and we want to get them in balance. Notice relationships being in balance, all of those things. So that's what the teachings are based on. And I even have some of my healing stones. So, this one, for instance, that's
Uh-huh.
been in its own fire ceremony was a stone that I found when I went to the island of Crete to do a shamanic
Mm.
retreat there. And so, you never know kind of what's going to find you, what you're going to find, and how the healings and the lessons are going to evolve.
Thank you. I really love how shamanism acknowledges the livinghood of everything in nature, not just among the humans and animals, because all should be respected. So,
Yeah, and it's fascinating. So, there's a lot of ritual, there's a lot of ceremony in shamanism. We'll do a couple of them here today.
yeah.
Even if I were to give one of my clients, say, go out and do a sand painting. That sounds kind of, oh, that's kind of maybe childish or silly, or I don't have time to do that, or something like that. But there's quite a process, so I can remember again kind of having some of these work challenges going on, some
Hmm.
politics and stuff like that. And so I went out and I collected my things from nature, asking Mother Nature. I was like, okay, if I take, one of these flowers, one of these stones, one of these sticks, things like that, and then arranged it in a sand painting, put down a little
Hmm.
sand and just kind of arrange, oh, okay, I think this goes here and this goes there, right? And so even that's a process, a kind of unwinding, if you will, of all the things that we get wound up in our
Yes.
lives. And then that sand painting just sat there for days, then it went to weeks, unchanged.
Wow.
Then when it went to months, and I think it was over the holiday break when I was actually away from some of the work and politics, then one day it changed. And then sure enough, I come back to work after the new
Mm.
year.
Hmm.
My supervisor that I was kind of having some issues with, he said, "Oh, I'm taking a new job. I'll be gone in 2 weeks." So the sand painting, it sat there unchanged for a while, and then the energies kept working, 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 and then it showed itself that it changed. So it really kind of almost creates a roadmap, So now there's other parts of that sand painting that didn't change, and so then I have to
Interesting.
accept. I have to be able to say, okay, if I can't accept that, then I need to change, right? So there's
Hmm.
lots of different ways, similar to getting a reading from a tarot card.
Right.
We can accept, the first level of information, and then we can
Hmm.
also look a little bit deeper and a little bit deeper.
Absolutely. And I just want to address the audience right now. This is different from some of the other episodes that you've seen. of Heart Space because we are actually now going to have a demonstration of shamanism. And I'm I'm thinking that we might just need to use a couple extra minutes um, for this to be sure that we get the fullness of whatever ritual you're going to do for us in. So uh, I I would love for you to let us know in the few minutes we have, about 4 minutes, what you'd like to be doing, and you can do whatever you'd like. You can talk during whatever, or just let us absorb. I step back and give you the floor.
Okay, thank you.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, as you were saying in your intro, so my clients come to me and they're bringing, whatever energy they're bringing. It could be a physical ailment, it could be emotional, it could be spiritual, and we're just kind of following that energy. And a shaman has lots of different processes. I might do an illumination to take out kind of a heavier, darker spot of energy out of their luminous energy field and replace it with lighter, brighter energy. I might do the sand painting that I was describing there. So today what I do, real quickly, because we don't have a whole lot of time, is I pulled a card from my Oracle deck here earlier, and then I've got my candle set up, and we'll just do a real simple little fire ceremony.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I love this deck because it just has some really beautiful imagery
Yes. Oh, I agree.
even
Love
colors
that
and things
light
like
and that
that.
orb. Oh, a few
Right.
orbs.
So the blade. So in indigenous cultures, this was a weapon. This was maybe a symbol that an elder had, kind of like a staff. So
Mm.
the blade can point to the heavens to connect us to the heavens. It can point to the earth to connect us to the earth. So the essence says the blade represents sharpness of the mind, body, and spirit. Pointing upward, it summons the power of the heaven. When aimed down to the ground, it anchors the power of the heaven on earth. The blade can be a healing tool or a weapon. Yield it
Hmm.
wisely, and it will transmit power, bestow initiation, cut energetic cords from the past, and even sever toxic relationships. Use it with anger, and it will stab, slash, and kill. So really
Wow.
heavy in the way that
Hmm.
we can look at it, or very powerful, very empowering the way that we look at it as well. Okay.
Yes.
And that's an oracle. I get clients that come in, and when I consult the energy, it just wants them to get a message from spirit, a message from the earth, their surroundings. So that can be a way. And then fire ceremonies. So we do a lot of fire ceremonies in the shaman cultures. If we have a big, beautiful fire that we can dance
Hmm.
around, play drums, shake our rattles, things like that, we can bring in lots of different energies. But we can also just create a very simple fire ceremony here at home with a candle, and then something as simple as a toothpick can be my prayer stick.
Mm.
This fire ceremony, we're going to pray for what we want to bring more of into our life. Okay.
Mm.
And I'll just pray for all of us here at this time, living on earth, for a little bit more peace, a little bit more ease, definitely some grace and harmony, and an ability to keep our hearts open even when we are faced with challenges around ourselves. And we're just going to blow that energy into the prayer stick so then it can be transmuted to the flame. We're getting that on camera there. And then I'll
Hmm.
just drop it in our fire. And then lastly, just to seal the ceremony, then we're just going to take some of that heat, some of that smoke from the flame, and we're first going to come to our solar plexus, that place of creation, bringing more of what we want, that ability to still be with an open heart in challenging times. And then next, we're going to take, again, that smoke and that flame to our heart, to anchor it in to our heart, our way of being, the thing that connects us with all the other living creatures and things on earth. And then lastly, to our third eye, to the spirit, to the knowingness, to the oneness of the universe, so that we can use those teachings, those blessings, the energy, hopefully as a guide for us throughout our journeys.
I actually feel the impact of that in my ajna because it's starting to bulge within me. I can feel
Uh,
that.
yeah, I'm getting some goosebumps that seems to always tell me that some of my angels are around. So maybe Archangel Metatron is helping us facilitating our fire ceremony today.
Absolutely. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much. And for you listeners, you may or may not be aware that this energy that he's creating is not only real, it is permanent. Within this recording, whenever you choose to listen to it, you will receive this energy that he is putting out and divining from source. So I want to thank you. Go ahead,
Yeah, the
please.
quantum realm is really amazing. I work with a lot of clients online as well,
Mhm.
and we can do soul retrievals, we can do extractions, we can do really all the processes just as well through this wonderful medium of being
Yes.
online and on Zoom with tremendous results. So, it doesn't have to be an in-person thing. Certainly that creates some wonderful energy in and of itself, like we were talking about, being able to be with others and, dance around a fire is certainly going to bring a lot of energy. But if we're
Mhm.
looking for healing, direct relation, being able to help with all of those processes, I work with a lot of clients online, and it does a wonderful job transmitting the energy.
I appreciate your sharing that because, as anyone who has watched this episode and loves it may share with a friend who's in New Jersey or Massachusetts or Canada or Europe, Mexico, this can happen anywhere. So, whoever is interested in meeting the sourdough shaman online or in person may refer to the website that is below this video so that you may contact staff and find out all the details for when you can experience this beautiful art that he demonstrated here. And for those who are fortunate enough to be lucky and local, come over to where Heartspace is physically and partake. I don't know if there has been a month I've been there that there hasn't been the delicious bread when he's around. All right. Is there anything else you'd like to say as we wrap
The
up?
seeded sourdough with a little bit of lemon zest has really been popular this summer, this spring, summer. It makes the kitchen smell wonderful. But yeah, I always try to bring those things out. My neighbors have been enjoying it here when I'm baking, so just kind
I
of
love it.
a side fun thing, and I put the vibrations on in the house, and maybe it just has a little bit of extra love. Everybody
There you go.
seems to enjoy it.
So you can get love in the shaman form or in the red form.
Right.
All right. On that aromatic and lovely note, I want to say thank you everyone for being here and for being part of this lovely experience. And tune in next time as we visit someone else and their beautiful art. Namaste.
Thank you.